So I am not a numbers guy, but I did some numbers and it's wild. Took ProLine's budget here. This is just one of the more recent jobs that we did. This is the contract price. It was 36 square, split level, 812 pitch. And I'll just go through my numbers. I know everyone's numbers are going to be different than mine, but this will give you an idea of how crazy it is to be on the ball when it comes to knowing your numbers and profit margin. So $15,360 is the contract price. Labor is 105 square, $105 a square is what we generally pay. I know maybe you guys pay less than that. We try to pay our crews at the highest level of our market. And I know a lot of people around the country are way higher than that. But a lot of people are still out here paying $65, $75 a square, 85, maybe 90 a square. We were at 105 for this one. Material, we install a complete roof system. Most manufacturers are going to be around the same price. We're just around $6,000 for material. We do pay for a dumpster, and then this job in particular, we give a $500 referral. So they're just under 30% margin. Let's see if we take that out and there was no margin. So it's almost 33% if we did not pay that referral $500 deal. So just keep that in mind as you're watching this video and watching the craziness. So I used ChatGPT to help me kind of walk through this process. Again, I wasn't a great student, but I know that knowing our numbers as a roofing company owner, not a roofer, I know there's a lot of controversy about that. Knowing your numbers is super important. So this is a challenge for me and for anyone else in the roofing business to really stay on top of knowing your profit margins. So went through ChatGPT. This whole deal took, we went through all the deals of writing this long script and came up with this document. Busy does not equal profit. That's the title of this this document here. So you can see average contract price is $15,360. And then I put in my labor. So we're $105 for labor, and then just under $6,000 for material, 36 square. We pay for shingles, starter, hip and ridge. That's how we calculate that 36 squares. And then I just did a quick chart in ChatGPT for profit margin and the differences there. And so I wanted to see, there's a lot of people that are talking about these revenue numbers online. I know, profits for sanity, revenues, vanity. I know I hear all this stuff, but this is crazy. And check my math. I could be wrong, and these are not exact numbers to the dollar, but it gives you an idea because some of the stuff was like percentages. So I at least rounded very slightly just to give the idea of exactly what this shows. So I did 3 different roofing companies, roofing company 1, 2, and 3, all doing these types of roofs. So average job size is $15,000. This is their average cost. All that stuff is there. And then we took roofing company number 1, did 100 roofs at 35% margin. Total gross profit, $537,000. I think it was $537,600, but we'll get to that in a second. Roofing company number 2, 120 roofs at 29% margin, so 6% different in the margin, $537,000 of profit. And finally, roofing company number 3 had to do 40 additional roofs than roofing company number 1, so 140 roofs, 25% margin, $537 of gross profit. Now, this is the gross profit. Let's get into a whole nother discussion about gross profit versus net profit. And I can argue all day long about how many people are supposed to be in your organization based on the growth of your company. But I focus on profit. I don't focus on revenue, but anyone watching may want to know this part. So here's the rough revenue numbers. The first company is 1.5 million in sales. Second company is 1.8 million in sales, and the third company is 2.1 million dollars in sales to achieve the same exact, within a few dollars, gross profit. So $600,000 more, roughly $650, I think, in sales to achieve the same $537,000 of gross profit. Now let's. I threw in another company number 4, only did 70 roofs, so half the number of roofs as company number 3. They did a crazy high 49% profit margin. They still achieved the $537,000 of gross profit and only sold $1.08 million. Now, there are definitely people around the country that are selling 50% margin. I know companies that do this. Do they do it consistently? I don't know. I have definitely sold above 50% on several big jobs, but it's not common for us. We're definitely not in that range. We're in the upper 30s to low 40s, depending on the time of year. We would love to be obviously around 40 to 42% is what our goal is for what we think the market will allow. So I say all this to shine some light on people in the industry that are just saying that they're selling these super high numbers. I just want to know, where's the cash? Let's talk about like gross profit now. For every 100 roofs, do you have $500,000 of gross profit for every 100 roofs? Like, I know that you can change the numbers around. Well, our average is lower than that, it's higher than that, whatever the case may be. In 2023, almost 2024, $15,000 is not a crazy out of the wall number. And you can change this all around. But the crazy thing is that if you say your average ticket is higher, because ours is higher than 15,000, then it's even more staggering how important it is to have gross profit margin and keeping track of all these things. So having additional upgrades on your so there's only 2 ways you can change this. You can increase your contract size, and that's usually using better products, some sort of upgrades along with the roof system that you typically sell. And there's other number of ways that you can actually increase your contract price. Work with different types of customers. That's another way you can do it with the larger roofs. The second way is you can reduce your costs. So you can find, the wholesale box, Van Boxel sells the wholesale accessories and things like that. You could reduce your costs. We're considering doing that to reduce, because that $6,000 material bill could be, $5,400 or $5,200. $800 a roof is a lot over time. So these are the things that matter. We want to be really conscientious of getting the highest margin we can. I know we all think we want to sell roofs, produce roofs, and get paid for those contracts. That's actually not what we should be focusing on. What we should be focusing on is the customer and the customer experience, and making that so valuable that we can charge the highest profit margin of anyone in our market. Now, it's different for everyone, but we want to be the highest price roofing contractor because we're providing such an excellent customer experience that, look at this, a 4% difference margin, 4%, 20 more roofs had to be built because of 4% margin. That's wild. That is wild. Anyone can push 4%. You need to be pushing those percentages, 1, 2, 3, 4%, 5%. I mean, this is a 6% different for 20 other. It's crazy. This is crazy numbers. So I say all this to encourage people that, if you're focusing on these large numbers, these revenue numbers, stop. Just focus on your profit margin and focus on your gross profit per job. We can get into net profit all you want, but gross profit is the bag of cash that you have to be a good steward of. So that means, what kind of truck do you buy? How many trucks do you buy? How new are they? Do you put a lift kit on them? What do you do with that? Do you have a huge office space that you may not need? Do you waste money on marketing like I have in the past? Or do you have a marketing plan and a marketing budget so that you don't spend too much of that bag of money that you have? That gets you to the net profit. That's the best way to understand getting net profit at the end of the day. Do you pay your sales reps a compensation plan that does not make sense for your business? You really need to know these numbers. Like, don't say that there's not another way. There's always a way to build your business to keep the gross profit within your business and within all the key players on your team. Pay them the most so they bring the most value, so you're the most profitable moving forward. I just spent a Saturday afternoon doing this, and I thought it brought value to me, and it shed some light for me. I hope it sheds light for you. But I was just going through our dashboard, our budget tab here for ProLine, and seeing a real life job with real numbers that we really sold. And it's not atypical. It's slightly under the average job size that we do. But I think that I chose it because I think that it'll reach the most people. For whoever's watching this, they can at least relate to it in some way. And I love feedback. Let me know if my numbers are wrong. They could be. But I do think that they're at least pretty close. So just focus on your pricing, focus on your overhead, your direct cost, try to control those as much as you can. And, again, I want to be this company number 4 that's at 49% margin. For every million, 1.08 million, I'm getting $500,000 of profit. That's where I want to be. I think it's reasonable. I've done this on several jobs this year. I can't maybe not do it for every job, but I want to get as close to this as possible. And I think that we all should, as high-level roofing contractors, giving that extremely high level of customer experience, installing the best products in the market, paying our crews the most, paying our team the most, getting the most 5-star reviews. These are all the things that matter, not just pumping out roofs and selling a ton of roofs. This is not where we want to be. We don't want to be focusing on the quantity of roofs and the quantity of revenue. We want to be focused on profit and how we take care of our customers.